The neighbors were making fun of what he was building, but they ended up regretting not doing the same thing themselves. The man lived in Texas, and it's a region where there are often pretty violent storms. This guy had checked the weather forecast, and a huge hurricane was expected. So he got in his car and drove a long way to Louisiana to buy a barrier. He came back home and started his big project. While he was doing this, the neighbors were looking at him in a funny way. Everyone in the neighborhood was wondering why he was going to all this trouble. They thought he was crazy. It was a big and complicated job for a single man, but his neighbors laughed at him rather than help him. They were telling him it was nothing, and the hurricane would just blow over like usual. He filled a 400-foot tube with water to act like a sandbag to protect his house. His big tube, which served as a barrier, was supposed to protect the house during the hurricane. He spent days preparing for the hurricane, building a barrier around his house. It was a massive job for just one person, but no one offered to help. He carried tons of sand, and with his property being so large, the work was exhausting. As he built it, his neighbors looked at him like he was crazy, laughing at him and thinking he'd lost his mind. Word spread around town, and everyone wanted to see the crazy guy building his barrier. But when the hurricane hit, it devastated the neighborhood, and everything was flooded, with 27 inches of water. The flood destroyed his neighbors' houses, but the barrier he built completely protected his own home. And when the neighbors saw that, they immediately regretted not listening to him. They had lost everything while his house was perfectly intact thanks to the barrier. Sometimes the one who seems crazy is the most sensible of the group.